Previously, in the land of the wolf, the Manitous pack changed its movements within its territory, a normal behavior in August. Monique, Raynald, and I are trying to find new places to keep watch, because Jimmy, Como, and the others no longer frequent the pine forest area. We hope we will soon be able to resume filming the wolves, such as the handsome white paws. In the meantime, my father takes the opportunity to film wildlife in the Chubbys Bay. For my part, I spend time with Ginger and her kits, or I explore the muskegs in the heart of the wolf domain. A trail that we have laid out leads directly to a blind in the Chubbys Bay. A 5-minute walk that gives us the feeling of being at the other end of the world. Some species are so shy that my father has to hide his presence to manage to film them. At first, the Chubbys found Raynald's behavior very strange, to say the least. They have adapted to this oddity since it does not concern them. The filmmaker spots his first subjects, a molting song sparrow and an American mink. Common loons are the true lords of the bay. The abundance of food attracts many other piscivores, such as this belted kingfisher. Chubbys Bay is a vast summer pantry for several species of birds. This great blue heron is an opportunistic fisher, a regular in the Chubbys Bay. Its appearance arouses the mistrust of the neighborhood. One can hear through the grapevine that ring-necked duck saw it swallow a duckling in June. Mother remembers. A vague memory that does not prevent the ducks from diving in search of mollusks and crayfish. As soon as a bird captures a prey, the others want to steal it. From the top of its perch, The kingfisher mocks at the covetousness of the ducks. To capture this kind of scene, the filmmaker must be very patient. However, it is difficult to escape the vigilance of the great blue heron. While the heron tries to remove the leeches stuck on its legs, the chubbies feast. A fruitful filming session ends for Raynald. An evening of work begins for the beavers. In addition to the chubbies and wolves, we followed each year the common loons nesting in the bay, and a few families of red foxes, including Ginger and her kits. It is fascinating to see how different behaviors can be observed within the same species. Ginger was a very permissive mother, and her kits did as they pleased. We knew another vixen who raised her young with much more discipline. Same species, two personalities, each with their own way of educating the kits. In August, Ginger still played a very active role with her young, and it was really interesting to observe. After a brief contact of recognition, my friend Ginger no longer cares about my presence. Some of her young already exceed her in size. They frolic around her freely without her imposing the most basic discipline. Ginger invites her young to follow her. I have observed this behavior in wolves, but rarely in foxes. For the young, following mom is a party, a game. However, the walk has a less playful purpose. The mother wishes to instill lessons in her offspring, such as what to do in the event of an encounter with a bear. In reality, Ginger and her family often come across these black bears, whose mother has a nice brownish coat. A magnificent bear who has got into the habit of coming to eat with her cub, where the young foxes learn how to prey on voles. The foxes will have to wait until the bears leave, unless mutual observation becomes a new game. Ginger was not a vixen like the others. One day we saw her respond to the request for attention from one of her teens. She started cleaning his fur to get rid of its parasites. He was bigger than her, but she mothered him as if he was still a month-old kid. Ginger sometimes ventured around the base camp, the handsome female bear with brown fur also. One morning, her cub got lost in the maze of alders bordering the Chubbys Bay. My father knows that when a bear realizes her cub is in distress, she panics. She becomes defensive and can see a threat in the first creature standing between her and her offspring. Hence the importance of locating her to avoid confusion that could lead to an attack. Raynald did not take his eyes off the cub until it disappeared. In fact, my father ventured out of his blind only after reassuring himself that the mother bear was not going to appear suddenly near him. Ginger's presence in the Chubbys Bay caused less emotion to the filmmaker. But for the potential fox prey, like the ring-necked duck family, it was a different story. The territory of a red fox is much smaller than that of a wolf. To find the new daily routes of the Manitous over an area of about 600 square kilometers, it took not only patience, but also a lot of intuition and luck. Therefore, it was with enthusiasm that we continued to explore the central region of the domain of the pack, where the relief offered interesting viewpoints. Several moose and black bears lived in this dynamic habitat made up of marshes, lakes, muskegs, and dense forests. There were also clear-cut logging areas dating back 10 years and clearings where the logging company had extracted sand to provide temporary accesses to their sites. A real paradise for wolves who like hillsides, overhangs, and above all, sandy soils. We began to keep watch where wolf tracks were most numerous. Luck smiled on us. Since his conflict with the philosopher bear last July, Como shows reserve when he encounters a black bear, even a small one. From the top of the esker, he can watch the young bear as he pleases. The smells and sounds rise, bringing him a large amount of information on the activities of the animals in the surroundings. Moreover, the wolf goes unnoticed from the top of this mound, since the bear below cannot sniff him. Como likes spending hours on this strategic mound, which serves him as both a rest area and a lookout post. He decides to show himself to remind the bears he is the real master of the domain. Como seemed even more beautiful in this new environment, as if the month of August transformed him into a perfect being, physically and psychologically. The charismatic gaze of this wolf still haunts me today. Sometimes I felt his presence without seeing him. He was in the morning dew, in the forest full of mysteries, somewhere around the lake. A wolf and its habitat are one, and that is why the spirit of Como accompanied me, even when I welcomed the dawn in the middle of the mists enveloping the muskeg. In the next episode, the theme of the encounter will be in the spotlight. Tense encounters between various characters. Peaceful and unexpected encounters between neighbors. Encounter between night and day that creates the first mists of September. Without forgetting the handsome white paws that we will surprise hunting in the muskegs region. A fabulous fall beginning that I hope to share with you in the land of the wolf.
Manitous, then again my gun way 마행근 기구나 스카크 맥괴 마세 가니시나베 하야웨 하야